haven't started it like that in a while. Happy Memorial Day. Let us not forget everybody who died, including the actual natives of this country that we killed as colonizers. Oh yeah, I'm bringing it there. Alright. Just starting off with some cleansing, you know. Man, I need to get some new lighters. Alright, that should be good. Alright, so a couple of things I wanted to show off before I get started. So I tried some of this tea at Folklife, and it is delicious, so I bought myself a little sampler pack. And it's by B. Fuller's Mortar and Pestle, and you can check more out at bfullers.com. No, they're not paying me, but you can always tell them that I had mentioned them. And then I also wanted to mention a good friend of mine and spiritual mentor of mine, his band, 80s Invasion, plays at the High Dive in Seattle. Well, in Fremont, but still Seattle. And I just wanted to thank him for all the times that I have been able to bounce off understandings, disagreements, just anything that we could, you know, get into in life and, you know, still remain friends even through misunderstandings, through disagreements, through times when we were closer or not closer. He has always seemed to be this, you know, very warm and kind and thoughtful person. So thank you, Daniel Harper. And I know you watch. All right, so today I think I would like to talk about the 3 perceptions of our personality and our person. So there's the first one that is the person that we think that we are projecting, or we're trying to project outwardly, who we want to be seen as. Then there is the person that is actually being projected outwardly. And then there is the person that people see. So the first person that we are trying to project is due to our ego and our and things that we feel, our insecurities, our shortcomings, what we really truly want to make a difference with. Because, you know, we understand that we have shortcomings in our existence. We know that we can, you know, have failings, and through that we wish to either warn or teach or become, have other people become better through our mistakes. As I believe we are all teachers of some sort, whether we are conscious of it or not. And all of these can be understood better by consciousness and self-awareness. Another thing is that there are things that we try to cover up as well, and that's part of who we're trying to project, because sometimes we try to project a certain person and we shave off the part of ourselves that isn't so nice, that we don't really want to show the other people, because we want to come off as somebody who has it all together, who knows things, who is somebody of an authority on something, because otherwise we don't think that people will actually believe that we have any understanding of what we're supposed to, you know, be speaking about. Because, you know, most people want to go see a speaker who kind of understands what they're talking about versus somebody who's just kind of going off. However, a lot of times what we think what we're projecting is not actually what we're projecting, and what we're projecting is something that is either really see-through or false, are just very fake, and it's very, very obvious, but only not to us. Other people can see it, or we are coming off as vulnerable, or we're coming off as closed off, or we're coming off as pompous and know-it-all, or just there's so many things that we can project that we don't even realize that we're projecting. And so that brings me to the second part, is that what we are actually projecting is that all these things, then that people see them, and that's like the dissonance between the two is sometimes so great that we wonder why we're getting a different message from what we think we're trying to achieve. We want to be a teacher, but nobody's listening, or we want to be very helpful, but nobody seems to want our help, or we want to change the world somehow, but every time we try, it seems to be at a dead end because it doesn't seem to go any further, and that's that there's a cognitive dissonance between the two, where what we're trying to achieve is not being achieved because we are unaware of the barrier between what we are trying to project and what is being actually projected. And then the third is what people see. Now that is a third outside point that is completely out of our control. However, that's why we end up getting to know people and starting to talk to people and letting them know us, so that they can start to understand our process, our inner workings. However, sometimes we don't want people to know us because we believe that they can take advantage or somehow be, malaligned to us. So, and then a lot of what people understand of us is through their own lens, through their own interpretation. And that's what their ego is. And that's the third one of ourselves as well. We see people and we see them in a certain way because of what our ego or what our lens brings back to us, what we see of them. We see somebody on the street and, we feel bad for them because, they're homeless, or they're, have some kind of disability, or have some failing in a sense that bothers us, because that's something that we fear in ourselves. They may not feel at all like, they've come to terms with who they are, and they've narrowed that dissonance between who they are and what they're projecting. And it's our failings, our ego, our understanding of a situation that makes us uncomfortable. Alright, that was a short one. I'm glad, because I have a couple of pieces that I want to show you. This is my newest painting. This is the Hangman. I decided to just break out the boards again. I found some on the side of the road, and so I got a little crafty and creative, and it was good. It's always kind of a nice relief of an outlet for creativity and frustration sometimes. And then behind me, of course, we have our Three of Swords. Still one of my favorites, even though it's one of the, least favorite cards to be seen in the deck. Behind it is the Ten of Swords. I keep that one hidden because, even though it's it's a good card sometimes, it's a bad card to be seen. Sometimes you just need to, paint stuff that really feels powerful. And then we have this, which I just got out of storage, is a piece that I bought from a girl. Oh my gosh, and she didn't even sign it. I believe her name was Annalise. It was a friend of a friend, and she was, an art student at UW, and it's difficult to see in this light, but it is actually a guitar on top of a canvas, and she nailed it, and I thought it was really powerful and amazing. So I bought it because I like to support other local artists as well. Okay. So I'm going to read as I shuffle this deck because I'm trying to make these videos shorter so that people watch them more. Although this last week I had about 84 views, which, wow, thank you. That is amazing. I still think it's a glitch, but whatever. Okay, for the beginning of the week we have the Three of Rods upright, we have the Two of Cups reversed, and we have the King of Cups. So it looks like there is something going on with the relationship, and it seems to be moving forward. However, the relationship does seem to be somewhat stalled. And as I'm pulling the love cards, yes, it does seem to be there's a stalling. And it's with like this King of Cups person who is somebody who is very kind, and he's in the upright, so he's not trying to be emotionally manipulative. However, you know, that goes back to the perception. What is being perceived versus what is being taken in, and what are the filters on top of that? So there's something progressing. You know, the Three of Rods is something that's, you know, it's starting to take flight. It's the things are coming in, and we're preparing, and you know, it's the packages are coming in for the, you know, the Four of Wands, which is the marriage, happy home card. So something is being prepared. However, there is definitely a discord or disconnect between the people. There is something that is in the way, or that is not allowing the two people to be able to have a direct understanding of one another. And be it a conversation or a heart-to-heart, or really being leveling with a person, because it's really important in a, you know, romantic relationship for the two people to be completely honest and to be completely direct and level with one another, so that everybody feels like at least everything is on the table. Because you don't want to have a relationship with another person that you're trying to be in a deep way with that person and feel like everything that you're talking about is just on the surface. Everything that you're sweeping all the problems under the rug. Sometimes talking about the problems can be even more romantic than any romantic kind of gestures could be. And maybe that's the problem. Perhaps this King of Cups is very romantic in his sense and very kind and generous, but is not taking a look at the problems that are still there, and that could make him not as romantic as he thinks he seems. Perception. Alright, so the middle of the week we have the Knight of Swords upright. So suddenly something comes in and you're charging ahead, or some news, mental, the swords, comes in and starts something going. And it looks as if it has to do with a group of people, maybe a party situation or a friends group, although it is reversed, so it could be some, you know, fracturing of a friendship, or some people who are not so a positive influence. You know, it could be like a party crash, or even, you know, like the intention was good to come in and party, but nobody knows this person, so we don't really want them there. Or, you know, just that kind of energy where there's either, you know, some kind of thing that is disruptive, that's not quite, you know, of the highest good for a, you know, a friendship, or, and it's, you know, it's actually, it's funny because we have the Two of Cups reversed, then we have the Three of Cups reversed. So perhaps there is a third party situation that is involved with this Two of Cups, you know, relationship, and it's a friendship or a group of people. We have the Hierophant in reverse, and we have the Magician, which is kind of about taking control, and the Magician is upright. And so it's about taking control of your own situation and having the power. See, he's controlling all four elements. He's able to, take control of his, existence and use all of the four elements to his advantage. All of the four parts of his life is, and I think it's kind of talking about breaking free from the tradition, because the Hierophant upright is all about a traditional way of being, of an understanding. Could be a church, could be a societal understanding, it could be a business. So perhaps it is somebody coming in and just being able to say, you know what, I am done. This is no more. I don't want this kind of attitude or understanding in my existence anymore, and I'm going to make a change. This is not what I want in my life. And the only way I'm able to change my existence is to actively figure out what the dissonance is and correct it in a way that I'm moving towards what I actually want instead of what I don't want, and not continuing to let what I don't want in my existence. As difficult or stressful or painful, it's probably less stressful and less painful than continuing to let it on. Even though we think something is just okay and good enough or easy, it really isn't, because it accumulates over time to be something that we don't actually want, and it's not productively going towards something that we want. And so at the end of the week, we have the Page of Rods, Ace of Cups upright, Page of Rods upright, and the Ace of Swords. So we have some new beginnings, and I believe we are entering into June, which is fantastic. June is 6th month, all about home, family, relationships, connections, stability, 6, 3, and 3. So, we're getting that equal balance. So there's some creative pursuit. So this is for the weekend. There's some creative pursuit. Oh, and it's also the Gemini new moon. So fantastical. So we have the, this creative pursuit, or this creative person coming in and starting something, or having a new idea or a new emotional understanding. The rods people, they're fairly young. They're can be a little immature or unestablished, or not as well. They don't know how to make things always go exactly as planned. It's a novice. You're just beginning something, so you're starting this new emotional or creative endeavor. And then we have the Ace of Swords, and so it's a new mental thing, and it's a victory as well, because the Ace of Swords upright is a victory. It's a new thought, or it's a new you're saying something new, and I think it is definitely a new emotional beginning of some sorts. So for the end of the week, we have, for the overall idea and theme of the week, we have the World card upright and the Two of Rods. So it looks as if we're moving forward with something that is, we are ending a cycle in our life, and we are moving forward with our existence. We're actively taking a path forward and deciding that we're making a choice, and twos are also having to do with partnerships, and wands are spiritual, creative, passionate, sexual, and so it's passionately moving towards a direction. We've made a choice. We're choosing to move forward. And then we have, and I decided to do all twos with this one, we have the Page of Cups with the Ace of Swords reversed. Now, this could just be, it's messages um, of creativity, of love, or and it just could be kind of this confusion, or not believing in oneself, feeling like going forward may be failure because it is unknown, because we are finishing something. And so it just could be something like you feel like you failed at something because you're leaving it behind. But the thing is that we never really fail at anything. It always has succeeded to, bring us something in our life that we've needed to understand about ourselves, that we've needed to have brought to light, that we've needed to try out at least to know whether or not we were going to be, where we were standing. Because if you don't ever try something, you don't know how it's going to be. You don't know what is going to come of it. So, even if you don't become like a super mega star, at least you should try. Go chase that dream and see where it takes you. And then you can learn along the way, well, okay, this didn't really work, and that worked really great, and I really like this place or that, venue, or I liked this style that I was doing, and people really liked that, but this style didn't really work. It's all very, trial and error. And then we have the Nine of Swords reversed and the Seven of Wands reversed. And I think that this really comes... So the Seven of Wands has to do with feeling like you are either indecisive, or that you can't, you don't really feel like you can go forward even though you've come up with this victory, because it follows the Six of Wands, which is about, being in the spotlight and being victorious, but it's kind of like you don't really know where to go from there. You kind of feel like there is no continuing direction, or there's too much that you're up against, that you don't feel like you can move forward, that you don't really know where to go from there. And maybe that's where this Ace of Swords comes from. Maybe you feel confused in your pursuit of something. Maybe you feel confused in your pursuit of a relationship, or some kind of creative endeavor. But then we have the Nine of Swords reversed, which is great, because that means that even though we don't know where we're going, we're not afraid. We're no longer afraid of not knowing where we're going. We're just letting it happen, and whatever happens, we're going to be okay, because we are secure enough and grounded enough in ourselves that whatever happens, we can roll with the punches. We can allow and see what will happen. So for the astrology cards, we have Leo and Venus, which is very interesting. Even though Leo is not traditionally the ruler of Venus, it is the ruler of the 5th house, which is all about creativity and romance and children. So we have a lot of young cards. So it is definitely this, and it's also the solar plexus. So it's talking about having the self-confidence to move forward even if you don't know where you're going. And it rules the sun, and it has the little lion on there, or the big lion, I guess. And it's all about being courageous, being brave, and even if you are afraid, you are allowing yourself to move forward into the unknown. And so the sun, the sun just shines. It's there. It shines on everyone. It shines on everything. It's so big, and it doesn't, it just goes. And even maybe if it makes the planet extra warm, it's just doing what it's doing, because that is its job. That is its purpose. So then we have Venus, which I believe moves into Gemini, but I'm not certain. I haven't looked at my astrology. It could still be in Taurus at the moment, but I mean, it's all about this creative pursuit and passion. And Venus is actually ruled by Libra and Taurus. So it's about this love and appreciation and the fine things in life that we can, a little decadence, really a very creative planet, as well. And so it's about really feeling that kind of love in your life, and what truly brings that kind of love. Alright, so then for the love cards, we have Justice reversed and Seven of Cups reversed. So it seems like we are starting to really take a hard look at a lot of things in our love life that may or may not have worked. It's the not looking at the illusions and the what we could have, but what actually is. It's getting down to the nitty gritty, and it comes with the injustice in reverse, which can kind of come with that as well, because sometimes we think we have more options. Sometimes we think there is actually more there than actually is. And I know I said actually twice, but it's very true. We can have illusions of grandeur when it comes to romance, when it comes to what we think we are getting in return from people in our lives, whether they are actual romantic partners or our surrogate family that we have adopted as our romantic partners. Because a lot of times, if we don't have one person, we have a lot of people around us that help give us each a little bit of what we need. But maybe not everyone is giving exactly what you think you need back now, and you have to reevaluate what you have been getting. It could be family even too. Sometimes our families, our natal families, are not always 100% either. So it's about reevaluating, now looking at the truth, what is real. And so we have the Four of Swords reversed, which is all about meditation and taking it back down inside and being able to look within and taking a break from everything outside and seeing what is the reality, what is what we need. With the Venus card, what is what we need? Then we have the Queen of Coins. So this is the, very matriarchal home mother type person. She's, she's very good with the finances, with the practical things. She can stretch, a dollar. She can make a great meatloaf on that stretched dollar. She can, make the comforts of home, like, you never want to leave, like the wonderful bed that, is just so comfy. And that's a lot of Venus energy too. And then we have the Ace of Arrows. So it looks as if there is an idea that is being meditated upon, and it has a lot of this earth energy behind it, having this Queen of Coins there, where she is, and it's Hera, which is the wife of Zeus, which is, the god of all gods. And so there's a reevaluation of something in our basic needs of home and shelter, food, all these things. We are trying to reevaluate the base level of our hierarchy of needs so that we can have that secure base to move up and have everything else that we want to pursue in the future. Which definitely also goes along with this card that we have, the Search. And here's Oliver. We have the Search, feeling lost, confused, and lonely. Hi. And it's number 6, actually. So there's a lot of this 6 energy going around. I'm going to read this quickly before we get too long in the tooth here. The days of our lives are forever changing. Like the four seasons of nature, spring follows summer, then comes autumn and winter, and then the cycle starts again. At present, you are symbolically experiencing a winter season. Life seems dreary and it feels as if everything has come to a halt. You may be feeling a sense of loneliness, confusion, and it feels like you have lost your way, searching for answers that do not appear to come, wanting to know why, and yearning for new inspirations. When will your passion and excitement for life return? The answer to your question is soon. Without a doubt, spring always follows winter. Look at the lady on the card. Notice how she looks out at the horizon, searching and yearning, unaware that the first rays of sunlight are just beginning to glow from behind her. Very soon now the light will shine upon you and a new cycle will begin, full of new ideas, new inspiration, perhaps even a new love of some kind. All right, and that is very well tied into our ending of our cycle. So I wish you guys all a great week, and just remember to let everything flow as it is, no matter how difficult it can be. And I know it can be very difficult to just let things flow. All right, I thank you so much. See you later.